This is a summary of the results from the impact bargaining from the hybrid schedule. I wanted to make sure that it was clear to everyone that the MTA did not advocate for this new schedule. We have been actively working against it in the best interest of our students. This hybrid schedule was done to us. The best that we can do is bargain the impact on our working conditions until the next round of contract negotiations in 2019. Your negotiations committee and team have been working diligently to your benefit since the start of the school year. We've had 1 or 2 meetings every week since September, and ultimately the board team imposed their last best offer in the end of December. This means the MTA did not sign off on all of the proposals that we were being presented with. We have no further recourse until the full contract negotiations in the year of 2019 for the 2020 school year. This is an entire list of all of what we requested to discuss with the administration team. Each of these will be broken down in detail for the rest of the presentation. This is just a list that you can refer back to if interested. So, number 1, we requested that all positions for every department, not only 1.5 period classes, would be maintained through the life of the contract. The Board of Education insisted that they would only reduce the number of positions by attrition and retirement, but they were unwilling to put any of this in writing. So unfortunately we have no recourse if they change their mind. So at the moment there's been no addition or change in language. All of the changes to PE are a result of changes to state law. Because of this, the administration team would not discuss the topic based on the fact that we were discussing the impact of the hybrid schedule change. So with this as well, there was no change to language to support this idea. This one's going to be a little bit heavier. This is numbers 3 through 6 from what we wanted to discuss with the Board of Education team. We wanted to define more clearly what a normal teaching load happens to be. We have language already in the sidebar letter that describes a normal teaching load, and the MTA team felt that new language would be necessary to deal with the repercussions of the hybrid schedule. At the table, we exchanged multiple proposals and had good conversation about these issues. Ultimately, the administration imposed their last best offer on this sidebar letter. The next few slides will discuss the changes to the language that has been imposed. So, the sidebar letter in the contract has been altered. In those edits, anything that is in blue is going to be what the MTA and the Board of Education agreed to. Anything in red is the imposed language that the Board of Education is just going to do. A portion of the sidebar letter talked about lunch, and a clarification on our lunch needed to be identified due to the block days. So on non-blocked instructional days and no less than 45 minutes on blocked instructional days is what our lunch is going to be. The state minimum is 30 minutes. We were able to negotiate to 45. Portion 9 of the sidebar letter discusses teaching load. This is a bit confusing, so let's walk through it. We had to have language that would describe blocked and non-blocked days, which is why this is so cumbersome. The result is that the typical load for a teacher would be 5 classes, and they would not teach more than 4 classes in a row on a non-blocked day. Also, on blocked days, the typical teaching load would be 3 classes on one day and 2 classes and a supervision on the other. So the typical teacher would have 3 contact periods on the blocked days. So what happens if you don't have a schedule that is considered usual? Well, so let's say the schedule next year is not usual. An administrator, likely your department chair, will require to hold a meeting with you to seek your agreement on the schedule. Understand, you do not have to agree to the schedule. You can and you can also request to have union representation at this meeting. So the new language that is written here in red is as follows. Under extenuating circumstances, other schedules may be assigned to teachers only through mutual agreement between the teacher and the administration. Teachers may request union representation at meetings in which an extenuating circumstance dictates that a teacher be assigned to a teaching schedule that is different from a typical teaching assignment. The MTA team ended up presenting even more stringent language to this, but the Board of Education did not accept that language. This was the language that they imposed. This is still going to be beneficial to teachers. In certain instances, 6 periods of teaching may be assigned on non-blocked instructional days because of a program need or in a response to a teacher or request from the teacher. Teachers assigned in this matter will typically teach 3 instructional periods on both blocked instructional days. This would be instead of teaching 4 on one and 2 on another. Also, lead teachers have been assigned, or shall be assigned up to a maximum of 4 classes on their or their equivalent and 1 supervisory assignment. All of this language, other than the underlined or bolded portions, were part of the original sidebar letter. We also had improvement in the professional development article in the contract. Any professional development during a teacher's preparation time will be either compensated or be given professional development credits toward column movement. While we did not get all of that was our request, we did get some movement on this particular idea. In the professional development portion of our contract, you'll notice the portion in blue has been added, and actually the portion in red was added, and we did sign off on this particular agreement. So let's read through it briefly. Participation in district-sponsored workshops or other district sponsors' professional development experiences during teachers' non-instructional periods and outside the contractual workday will earn workshop credit in accordance with the terms below. So this means any of the in-house professional development that you have been taking, if you can accumulate up to 30 hours of that participation time, you will actually earn 1 professional growth credit toward column movement in our contract. End result, there were significant changes in the sidebar letter and on teaching load, and the MTA advocated for a different language. However, the BOE imposed their last best offer. This new language more clearly defines a typical teaching load and gives the teachers a voice in the overall process. We also had some movement in our professional development as well. We requested that there would be an increase in salary based on the amount of contact time that was going to be increased because we are teaching, we are going to be in front of students for a longer period of time. The BOE was not open to this proposal, and so as a result, there was no change. Due to their experience, knowledge base, and connections, we wanted to preserve the position of the college and career counselors. The administration said that this was not an effect of the new schedule and was not open to discuss this issue. We requested that every teacher receive a minimum of 40 summer curriculum hours in the summer of 2018. While we did have some discussion about this at the table, there was really no movement on it. The administration stated that they are open to summer curriculum proposals, but want to make sure that they did not budget for any additional summer curriculum beyond what is their current budget. That said, first priority is going to go to new course proposals. So if you want to do summer curriculum, please make sure you turn in the paperwork to do so. The implementation of alternative instruction, blended learning, workshop, flipped, etc., is going to be at the teacher's discretion. The administration stated that the new schedule will not be used to force alternative instruction. The intent is to still let teachers continue to explore what they believe is best for their students, so there is no language changes to this in the contract. While we are going to predict the impacts as best as possible, the BOE and MTA understands that the effects of the hybrid schedule are nebulous. There will be impacts on the MTA members that are unforeseeable, and we agree that there will be additional impact barring during the years of implementation of the hybrid schedule. The administration agrees with this as an idea and is looking forward to working with us to solve any problems that arise. If the hybrid schedule changes your working conditions in a way that we haven't already discussed or brought to their attention, you do need to let the MTA know, so that way we can also advocate for those new issues that arise. Again, the Board of Education did impose their last best offer, and with that, we have really no recourse at the moment. However, we will be able to make those discussions during contract negotiations in 2019. That said, the negotiations team is still going to be meeting on a regular basis. Generally right now we've been meeting every other Tuesday, and we're going to do so probably from now until negotiations in 2019, and we could use assistance. Whether or not that is going to be by you letting us know what you need to have done, or whether or not you want to participate in the meetings themselves. If you are interested, please contact the MTA or your MTA rep, or if you can't go that route, president@mta-2 207.org would be the email that you could contact. Thank you very much, and I hope this receives to you well.